Hello and welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining me right here on MM.O Actual Speaking. I am Jennifer Clyde. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming by once again. Now it's time for lesson 37 and, well, lessons 37 and 38 are related to traffic in cars and accidents. Today we'll first of all begin by focusing on traffic violations. Traffic laws, traffic regulations. Of course, we do try to abide by these laws, but sometimes we do break traffic laws or regulations as well. So we'll focus on traffic violations. There are many things that people do without even knowing, without thinking sometimes. If you are a driver, if you enjoy speed, you might speed from time to time, and that is breaking the law or traffic law, especially when you are driving at perhaps 90 kilometers or 120 kilometers per hour in an 80-kilometer zone. You are speeding. You are exceeding the speed limit, so of course you could get caught by the police for speeding, everyone, and get a speeding ticket. So we'll talk about all those things related to traffic violations. Are you ready? Here we go. Are you ready to get started, everyone? Today's topic is once again traffic violations. To violate something means to break something, especially something like a law or rule. Break a law. Break the law, break the rule, or break a rule, that means to violate. And of course, the act of violating is called violation. So let's warm up with some 5 W's and how questions. Let's brainstorm. First of all, ask yourself the who question. What type of driver are you? Now, if you, of course, own a car, or if you know how to drive and you drive, of course, you can, well, tell other people about what kind of driver you are. Are you an aggressive driver? Do you tend to speed? Are you an offensive driver? Now, are you a careful or cautious driver? Think about those things. Now, do you abide by traffic laws? As we all know, I did mention earlier on traffic laws, traffic regulations, okay? Those are all rules or laws we have to follow when driving. But here, abide by means to follow. Follow a rule or a law. So do you abide by traffic laws or do you tend to break them? Think about what type of driver you are. Moving on to our what question. What are your good or bad driving habits? We can talk about our habits when it comes to driving. So think about some of your good driving habits and some of your bad driving habits. What are they? Okay. Now, what do you think is a good driver? I think this question, even in Korea, a lot of my friends asked me this question in the past. So what is your definition of a good driver? Who do you think, or what type of driver do you think is a good driver? And people say, well, the best answer is a careful driver, not someone that speeds well or cuts in and drives really fast. That would not be the definition of a good driver. A good driver, I think, would be a very cautious and careful driver, okay, who abides by the traffic laws. Now, what kinds of traffic violations have you made in the past? So think about some violations, some traffic laws that you broke in the past, okay? Think about those traffic violations that you made in the past, and also what kinds of offensive traffic violations have you witnessed? Witness, okay? As a verb, it means to see with your own eyes, right? Have you witnessed? So what kinds of traffic violations have you seen other people make? Offensive here in this case is causing danger. So if you say offensive traffic violations, you're talking about dangerous. Traffic violations that could have led to perhaps a big accident, okay, very dangerous accidents. So think about that as well. What have you seen? What have you witnessed in the past? Also, what was the largest traffic violation fine you paid? A fine is what? It is a penalty, money that you pay as a penalty. So if you break a traffic law or traffic violation or traffic regulations, you do have to pay a fine, a penalty for doing that, okay? So what was the largest traffic violation fine that you paid in the past? Also, what did you get a ticket for? You can get a ticket for many, many things. First of all, that's right, for speeding, you can get a speeding ticket. For parking in an illegal spot or for parking illegally, you can get a parking ticket. You can also get a ticket for not buckling up, for not wearing your seatbelt. So you can get tickets for many, many reasons. Think about what you got a ticket for in the past, okay? And also, what did you get pulled over for by the police? Now, pull over, what does it mean to pull? In this case, when you say pull over, I got pulled over, it means the police told you, so-and-so number, pull over to the side. It means stop your car on the side of the road. So, what did you get pulled over for by the police? Also, what kinds of or what kind of accident or accidents have you been in because you did not abide by traffic laws? Meaning, because you did not abide by, meaning you did not follow or you broke traffic laws. So think about the accidents that you have been in because you broke traffic regulations, okay? You didn't follow them. And also, one question is, when was the last time you violated the traffic law? Was it today? Was it yesterday? Or was it a long, long time ago? Think about when that was. And also, when was the last time, once again, you got a ticket for illegal parking or speeding? So think about the last time you got a ticket for illegal parking or even for speeding, for driving too fast. Let's move on to our where category. Our where question is, where do you think traffic violations generally occur? So where do most traffic violations occur? Think about that as well. I think they say that at intersections, a lot of traffic violations occur or are made by people because you want to get through and you're breaking traffic regulations, right? Okay, and why? Why do you tend to break traffic laws? Ask yourself that question. Why do you break traffic laws? Why don't you abide by traffic laws? Because you're in a hurry? You want to go fast? Think about that. And finally, our how question is, how fast or how slow do you normally drive? Of course, if you are an aggressive driver, if you like speed, if you are an offensive driver, you will drive very fast. But on the contrary, if you are a careful, a cautious driver, you will drive slow. So, how fast or slow do you normally drive? Think about that as well. And that about brings us to an end to our brainstorming Q segment. So that was a quick warm-up, everyone. Are you warmed up? Let's now move on and take you to actual talk.
Peter, you know, people are driving so recklessly and so fast these days. Have you noticed?
Yeah, I think a lot of people in Seoul are in a hurry to get somewhere.
That's true. The busy, busy mentality, right? Yeah.
But to drive well in Korea, you really have to be somewhat of an aggressive driver.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
say the best defense is a good offense. And
Right.
I pretty much agree with that. Are you an aggressive driver or?
You know, I wouldn't say I'm a passive driver. I would say that I'm a safe driver, but I do have to be aggressive at certain times because, like you said, you have to be an offensive driver, you know, so that you don't get hit. If someone tries to cut in front of you.
You got to be ready to get out of somebody's way quickly.
Exactly.
So did you get any speeding tickets?
Speeding tickets? Well, not in Korea. I don't drive in Korea. And don't tell my parents, but I did get one speeding ticket when I was in high school.
Uh-oh.
Only one in my entire life.
Well, it happens.
Yeah. I was going to go see a friend, and I was running late, and I was going very fast on a road that I shouldn't have been. And the police pulled me over, and I did get a speeding violation ticket. About $100.
Okay, well, that's not too bad.
Yeah. What about you, though? I feel like you would have gotten a lot of speeding tickets.
Actually, I've been fairly lucky. I'm
Really?
pretty careful.
Okay.
You know, I'll do exactly 9 miles an hour over the speed limit in
Right,
America.
right, yeah.
But yeah, I've gotten 1 or 2 speeding tickets, I think, in my life, and I tend to be an aggressive driver, but
Okay.
I usually I usually don't drive too fast, and I
That's
try to be
good.
safe.
Okay. So when did you get your last speeding ticket?
Oh God, I was in college. I was driving a cheap old car. I didn't have much money. It was terrible to try to pay.
Okay. Have you gotten any other like traffic violations?
No, not recently. Luckily.
Not recently?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Stay safe out there.
Good advice.
Wow, today's actual talk conversation was quite interesting, wasn't it? Rachel did not say much about her driving habits. She didn't really say that she got into an accident as much as Peter did. He told us a whole bunch about his experience and what happened in the past, how he got into an accident and how he caused a motor accident as well. So let's take a look at the actual talk together, line by line. First of all, Rachel asks Peter, she says, people are driving so recklessly and so fast these days. Have you noticed? Have you noticed? Have you seen these people? Did you know? Have you noticed? Now, her point is, people are driving too recklessly and too fast. If you say drive recklessly, you're saying that people are, well, careless. They're careless drivers. You're a careful driver, and the opposite is careless. You don't really regard other people, okay? You're disregardful or you're careless. You drive very dangerously. You drive recklessly and so fast these days. Anyhow, Peter says, yeah, I think a lot of people in Seoul are in a hurry to get somewhere. To be in a hurry is what? You're trying to get to a certain destination as fast as possible. Okay, you're in a hurry. You don't have much time. So a lot of people in Seoul are in a hurry. They're trying to get somewhere very, very fast. And then Rachel says, the busy, busy mentality, right? I think in Korean we usually say 빨리빨리 mentality, but yeah, in English you can say busy, busy mentality. Mentality itself is, right, the way we think, okay? Thinking process, okay? The way we think. Busy, busy mentality, right? And then Peter says, but to drive well in Korea, in order to drive well in Korea or to get by in Korea, you have to be somewhat is kind of, a little bit, somewhat of an aggressive driver. So we've got aggressive once again. So aggressive and reckless driver, it's different, okay? A reckless driver just speeds crazily. They don't care about people. They don't care about other cars. They're driving dangerously. But aggressive driver is kind of similar, but they are not necessarily careless. They're very active, for example, okay? They want to get somewhere, they will get there, but they will try not to harm others, for example. So aggressive, okay? Now they say the best defense is a good offense, okay? Defense, offense, we've probably learned this word through soccer as well, right? Soccer, right? So the best defense, okay, that means to, right? Safety, that's right, protect yourself. And offense is what? To attack, for example. So they say the best defense is a good offense, okay? Defense, defending something, okay? Just being safe is always best. Are you an aggressive driver? He asks. Now, Rachel says, I wouldn't say I'm a passive driver. A passive driver is an active driver, okay? Active. So she's saying, well, not necessarily. I wouldn't call myself an aggressive or a passive driver. Now she says, I'm a safe driver. Careful driver, cautious driver, safe driver. But like you said, you have to be an offensive driver so that you don't get hit if someone tries to cut in front of you. Let's take a look at this. Let's break it down a bit, okay? She says, you have to be an offensive driver, okay? You have to be an offensive driver. You have to protect yourself when driving sometimes. You sometimes have to be a little bit aggressive so that you don't get hit, okay? Get hit by a car. Get hit if someone tries to cut in front of you, okay? Now, Rachel did say cut in front of you, but you could add an in there as well. In front of and to cut in. Cut in basically means, for example, you're standing in a line at a bank and someone walks in from nowhere and cuts in, stands right in front of you. That is cutting in line. You can also cut in front of other cars, okay, by signaling sometimes and cutting in. So she says you should be an offensive driver just to protect yourself or just to be safe sometimes so that you don't get into a car accident, so that you don't get hit by someone else. Moving on, Peter says you've got to be ready to get out of somebody's way quickly. Now, get out of somebody's way is what? Basically meaning let others go, okay? And he says, so did you get any speeding tickets? He's asking Rachel about speeding tickets. Let's see what she said. Speeding tickets, well, not in Korea. So not in Korea. And she says, I don't drive in Korea, but I did get one speeding ticket when I was in high school. Okay, so when she was in high school, she did get one speeding ticket for speeding, of course. And of course, Peter says, yeah, well, it happens. Things happen. It's natural to get a speeding ticket. She tells a story. I was going to see a friend. She was on her way to see a friend. I was running late. To run late is what? That's right. You are late. You are out of time. You don't have much time. So you're in a rush. You're running late. And so she was going very fast. Going very fast meaning I was moving very fast. In this situation, I was driving very fast, right? On a road that I shouldn't have been. And the police pulled me over and I did get a speeding violation ticket. So what happened? She had to see a friend, but she did not have time, so she was driving very fast. But a police saw her speeding and pulled her over. Now, the police pulled me over, I told you. Pull someone over means to tell that person to stop their car. Now, you get pulled over. And why? She was speeding, so she got a speeding ticket. And she had to pay about $100. Moving on. Peter says, $100? That's not too bad. Anyhow, she asks Peter, I feel like you would have gotten a lot of speeding tickets. What did he say? He said, actually, I've been fairly lucky, meaning, that's right, luckily, he didn't get many speeding tickets. I'm pretty careful. I'm a pretty careful driver. I do exactly 9 miles an hour. Okay, let's take a look at it here. I do exactly 9 miles an hour. When you're talking about speed, of course in Korea we go by kilometers, right? 100 kilometers per hour or an hour. But he said, I do 9 miles an hour. In this case, do means to go or to drive, okay? I drive exactly 9 miles an hour over the speed limit. So he knows just how much he should go, exceed the speed limit. So he goes over the speed limit, okay? And then he says, but I've gotten 1 or 2 speeding tickets. I think I tend to be, okay, an aggressive driver, but I usually don't drive too fast. So I tend to be so-and-so, meaning there is a possibility. Sometimes I am an aggressive driver, but I usually don't drive too fast. And he tries to be safe. Now, Rachel says, okay, so when did you get your last speeding ticket? Okay. He said, when I was in college. When he was in college, he got his last speeding ticket. And he tells his story. I was driving a cheap old car, okay? I didn't have much money, okay? And it was terrible to pay. Now, what does this mean? He's talking about how he was speeding and how he was driving a very old and cheap car, but perhaps he got in a car accident and he had to pay a lot of money to perhaps repair his car. Or maybe he was even fined, right? Now she says, have you gotten tickets for any other traffic violations? And he says, no, not recently. Stay safe out there. And of course, they end the conversation. So yeah, staying safe out there, meaning on the road. Always being safe and cautious and careful when you're driving. I guess that's the best rule. Okay, everyone, have a listen one more time and check out the subtitles.
Peter, you know, people are driving so recklessly and so fast these days. Have you noticed?
Yeah, I think a lot of people in Seoul are in a hurry to get somewhere.
That's true. The busy mentality, right? Yeah.
But to drive well in Korea, you really have to be somewhat of an aggressive driver.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
say the best defense is a good offense. And
Right.
I pretty much agree with that. Are you an aggressive driver or?
You know, I wouldn't say I'm a passive driver. I would say that I'm a safe driver, but I do have to be aggressive at certain times because, like you said, you have to be an offensive driver, so that you don't get hit. If someone tries to cut in front of you.
You got to be ready to get out of somebody's way quickly.
Exactly.
So did you get any speeding tickets?
Speeding tickets? Well, not in Korea. I don't drive in Korea. And don't tell my parents, but I did get one speeding ticket when I was in high school.
Uh-oh.
Only one in my entire life.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, I was going to go see a friend, and I was running late, and I was going very fast on a road that I shouldn't have been, and the police pulled me over, and I did get a speeding violation ticket. About $100.
Okay, well, that's not too bad.
Yeah. What about you, though? I feel like you would have gotten a lot of speeding tickets.
Actually, I've been fairly lucky. I'm
Really?
pretty careful.
Okay.
I'll do exactly 9 miles an hour over the speed limit in
Right,
America.
right, yeah.
But I've gotten 1 or 2 speeding tickets, I think, in my life, and I tend to be an aggressive driver, but
Okay.
I usually don't drive too fast, and I
That's
try to be
good.
safe.
Okay. So when did you get your last speeding ticket?
Oh God, I was in college. I was driving a cheap old car. I didn't have much money. It was terrible to try to pay.
Okay. Have you gotten any other traffic violations?
No, not recently. Luckily.
Not recently?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Stay safe out there.
Good advice.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's take a look at some actual talk expressions for today's lesson. Once again, we're talking about traffic violations. In today's actual talk, of course, Peter and Rachel did not necessarily point out a lot of the regulations or traffic laws they actually broke. So let's take a look at some terms and words and vocab you can use to talk about traffic violations. All right, first of all, traffic violation and moving violation are slightly different. They, of course, have to do with traffic, but a moving violation is usually when you violate something when you're driving, when you are in motion. So keep that in mind, all right? Now you can say, I was fined for, okay? If you are fined for something, you have to pay a fee as a penalty, right? So you can say, I was fined for running. I was fined for going through a red light. Okay, running, we're not talking about jogging or running actually. We're talking about running meaning going through, okay, ignoring something and going through. So I was fined for running a red light. I was fined for going through a red light. When I should have stopped, I didn't stop. I went through. Okay. Also, I paid a fine for, same thing, I paid a fine for doing a California roll or California stop at a red light, okay? At a red light, meaning when the red light was on. But let's take a look at California roll and California stop. California roll, what can you instantly think of? I would think of a roll, like a sushi roll, right, that you eat, but definitely it's not that. A California roll, also called a California stop, is, all right, here's a situation. When you are driving and you're at an intersection or you see a stop sign, now what should you do? If the red light is on or there is a stop sign, you have to stop. Come to a complete stop and then look around and then move, right? But even if you see a stop sign, if you don't come to a complete stop and just ignore the sign and keep moving, you are doing a California roll. You keep on going and going and going, okay? Does that help you remember? So I paid a fine for doing something. I paid a fine for making an illegal U-turn. So keep this pattern in mind. Another one is I got a ticket for illegal parking, parking illegally, parking too close to a fire hydrant. A fire hydrant is like a fire plug, usually outdoors, next to the street, on the side of the road. I think we call it not 소화기, but 소화전. out on the streets. If you park too close to that, you will get a ticket. So I got a ticket for so-and-so for illegal parking or parking too close to a fire hydrant. Keep in mind that the pattern allows the ing form here, okay? Moving on, I got a speeding ticket. I got a ticket for speeding, same thing. I got a ticket for exceeding the speed limit. These all mean the same thing. You're driving too fast, but exceed means to go over, right? So if the speed limit is 90, if you were driving 100, 120, you are exceeding the speed limit. So I got a ticket. I got so-and-so. Another one, I got caught on camera for parking in a bus, temporary, or no parking zone. So let's take a look at this. You get caught on camera for something, for doing something at a certain zone. So, of course, there are bus-only zones. There are no parking zones. And there are temporary zones where you should not park, so you can get caught on camera, meaning you can be photographed on one of those cameras. Okay? So you can say, I got caught on camera for doing something in a certain area or zone. Another one, the red light camera caught me beat the red light. What is a red light camera? Remember this. These days, you will see red light cameras. Where do you see them? You will see them at intersections, at large intersections. Now, these red light cameras are installed, and what they do is, when a car stops and when they start to move again, they capture that moment and they take a photo. So if you run a red light or beat a red light, they will take a photo of you. So the red light camera caught me, photographed me beating the red light or beat the red light, meaning you ignored the red light and kept on going. Okay. Moving on, my driver's license was suspended, revoked, and canceled for DUI. Now, DUI stands for driving under the influence. Basically means that you were driving after having a few drinks, drunk driving, okay? So, my driver's license was suspended. Okay, what is that? Okay, suspended means you cannot drive for a certain time, okay? And also revoked means to take away. My driver's license was taken away. It was revoked or canceled. Very similar to revoked, but canceled, if your license is canceled sometimes, you may not be able to ever get a license again. So, now for doing what? For DUI. For drunk driving, my license was suspended, revoked, or canceled, okay? I had to take the vision, written, or driving skills test again. So if your license gets suspended or revoked, you have to take these tests again to get a new driver's license. So keep these words in mind as well. Now, let's quickly take a look at some expressions you can use. Talking about getting pulled over by the police, once again, if you're pulled over by the police, it is a situation where the police tells you to stop your car and park on the side of the road. I got pulled over for or because, okay? Keep this pattern in mind. I got pulled over for speeding. I got pulled over for not wearing my seatbelt. I got pulled over for not buckling up, okay? Same thing. Also, I got pulled over for using my cell phone. I got pulled over for so-and-so. These are things you should not do. You are violating traffic laws, so you can get pulled over by the police. A few more. I got pulled over for driving on the shoulder. Now, the shoulder is what? Of course, we have shoulders, right? But shoulder on the road is, of course, the part of the road on the side that you shouldn't be driving through. Often on expressways, highways, people rush through the shoulder because they want to get by very quickly, and that is illegal. So you can say, I got pulled over for driving on the shoulder, the side of the road, okay? I got pulled over for driving in the bus lane, okay? In the bus lane. Or also, I got pulled over for crazy driving, reckless, very dangerous driving, okay? All right, let's take a look at a few more here. Now, I got pulled over for making an illegal U-turn. okay, making an illegal U-turn. I got pulled over for or because I was weaving in my lane. Sometimes, of course, you could lose control, or if you are under the influence, if you had a few drinks, your car could weave. It means not driving in a straight direction. You're weaving, so the police can stop you, pull you over. Two more. I got pulled over because I had a burned out headlight or tail light, okay? Burned out means the light went out. So I had a burned out headlight, meaning one of my headlights were out. Because I had a burned out tail light, it means one of my brake lights, the red lights in the back of your car, one of them were out as well. So these are some things you can talk about, especially when talking about breaking traffic laws or getting caught by the police and having them pull you over to the side of the road. All right, that about does it for today's actual expressions. Let's move on now. Now it's time for today's idiom, everyone, related to, of course, traffic violations. Let's take a look at this one. Tie traffic up. Tie something up means to hold something, tie it so tight that it cannot move. Now that was a tip or a hint. So guess what this idiom means? Tie traffic up. I'm stuck in traffic. An accident is tying up traffic on the highway. I'm stuck in traffic. An accident is tying up traffic on the highway. Can you guess what it means? Well, here is the definition. In Korean, it is 교통을 막다. Okay? Of course, it is to cause road traffic to stop. Okay? So here is another sentence using tie traffic up. A truck with a flat tire tied traffic up for at least an hour on the expressway. So if a truck or a car has a flat tire and they're blocking road or blocking traffic, they can tie traffic up or tie up traffic. So keep that in mind. Usually, I think also when an accident occurs somewhere and rubbernecks, these are people that just cannot keep going. They have to see what happened. They slow down traffic, sometimes even stop the flow of traffic. You can say they tied up traffic. So practice using today's idiom in many different situations, and that is a wrap for today's idiom attack.
Talk about your most memorable or most offensive traffic violation. Discuss in detail as to what happened and how it was resolved.
One of the traffic violations I've ever had in my life happened because of my father's uncontrollable excitement. I think it happened when I was in the 4th grade when we were going to our grandmother's house. And of course, because I'm a 4th grader, I didn't drive, but my father did. And I think he was pretty excited because we were going to our grandmother's house, and he wanted to get there as early as possible. But at the time, I didn't buckle up, so it was kind of dangerous that he could almost hit a truck, and I could almost jump on his head, but that never happened. So right now, when I remember that memory, I'm trying to buckle up, and I'm trying to control my father's speed so that he doesn't need to get a speeding ticket.
Well, that was an interesting story. So thanks to 신유원님, 인터뷰 감사드립니다. Now, she told us about a situation, something that happened when she was in the 4th grade, when she was a lot younger. Who was driving? Her father was driving. Now, he was driving a bit fast, and she said, I wasn't buckled up, I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, so something could have happened. Let's check it out line by line, first of all. Of course, 2 great points she mentioned in the interview. She said, it happened when I was in the 4th grade. So she's talking about when it happened, when she was in the 4th grade, when we were going to our grandmother's house. So when I was in the 4th grade, okay, and also when we were going to our grandmother's house. So in one simple sentence, she's talking about perhaps how old she was and what the situation was, okay? Moving on to another one, but at that time, or at the time, I didn't buckle up. so it was kind of dangerous. That's right, it's very important to buckle up, meaning to wear your seatbelt. Wonderful. I love that you used buckle up, okay? But at the time, I didn't buckle up, so it was kind of dangerous. At the time, I didn't wear my seatbelt. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, so it was kind of dangerous. Let's check out some oopsies as well. The first one, let's take a look at what she said. He could almost hit a truck and I could almost jump on his head. Now, if you take a look, we've got this pattern. He could almost, verb, and I could almost, verb, okay, jump on his head. But that never happened. Luckily, that didn't happen. But now, what could you have said? Now you can say, he almost, okay, he could have jumped, he could have hit, I could have jumped. Now, you're talking about something that almost happened, right? 뭐뭐 했을 뻔했다. You can say, he almost hit a truck, and I could have landed or jumped on his head, but that never happened. Now, if you take a look, he almost, something almost or nearly happened. And if it had happened, this could have happened. So he almost hit a truck and I could have landed, okay, fell on his head or jumped on his head, but that never happened, okay? Here's one more. So when I remember that memory, I'm trying to buckle up and I'm trying to control my father's speed so that he doesn't need to get a speeding ticket. It's a very long sentence, but take a look at these parts. So when I remember that memory, we're going to change that. And also, I'm trying to. And also, I'm trying to. Let's take a look at what you should have said. So when I recall that memory, not remember, recall. You're thinking about that moment again. When I recall that memory, I buckle up and I try to control my father's speed so that he doesn't get a speeding ticket. So you're talking about what you do now, okay? You try to do something. You try to buckle up and you try to control someone's driving speed. So I hope this helps you a lot. And for those of you that tend to make the similar mistakes or these common mistakes, you can always fix them, okay? So keep these tips in mind. Today's topic was traffic violations. We did talk about traffic violations and also moving violations. Now, as I was preparing today's lesson, I did do a lot of research and I found out that there are so many different kinds of cameras out there. Traffic cameras. I have added a list of the different cameras, I guess the most common ones or the general traffic cameras that you will find on the road. So it's included in the script, so check it out on our home page. But remember everyone, it is very important, especially if you drive, to abide by traffic laws, because if you don't, you are not only putting your life or yourself in danger, you're putting others in danger as well. So please practice the expressions we learned today and practice and practice. Hopefully, they'll become yours very, very soon. Okay, next time we'll be talking about a bit more serious topic related to traffic violations. We'll focus on automobile or motor vehicle, car accidents. Tune in for that as well. In the meantime, come to our homepage at www.ebse.co.kr. Look forward to MM.O Actual Speaking. And once again, I remind you, check out the script for today's lesson. There's much more information there. Okay, enjoy. I'll catch you again next time. Bye, everyone.